Chapter 6, Relaxing Assists Healing. As important as it is to have a plan for doing work, it is perhaps more important to have a plan for rest, relaxation, self-care, and sleep. If only I had known in advance. I wanted to join my entrepreneurial group for a long time. There were many missed events, and I spent too much time in solitude. On this spring night, the meeting was held at a local, nationally known hotel. A space was rented, and there were expectations for a large audience. I convinced my son to drive me. As I got out of the car and saw familiar faces, I became elated. I was greeted by many, and then I felt that this may not have been a good decision on my part. As soon as I entered the large room, I was attacked by the lights, noise, and confusion. I sat down, closed my eyes, and fought off the urge to just sleep. TBI brains do weird things. I made a mistake in judgment. I was not ready for this. Stress is a real killer in general, but when you have a brain injury, stress is difficult to manage. There are some mechanisms that work to protect us during those hard times. Our bodies are marvelous, but they work best when we provide them with the opportunity. Sleep was my body's way of protecting my brain from dealing with the chaos. I sat in that chair and slept through the entire presentation. I do not remember how I got home that night. Events like this can induce a few days mandatory rest that is impossible to argue with. I would encourage you to plan ahead when possible. Try not to feel obliged to attend meetings or large group events when you are symptomatic. I couldn't drive. That in itself should have been a clue, but I didn't know. You think that you can take on the challenge of being out and about. You may think that it only involves walking into a room and listening to some people talk while sitting. This is not a physical challenge you may think. That's incorrect. It is a physical challenge, and your brain is begging you to stop and rest. Patience produces progress. It's best for a considerable amount of time following a brain injury to try to avoid and eliminate stress. One stressor that is really totally within your control is whether you stay home or go. Public spaces and events with their screaming lighting, echoing spaces, and annoying, loud people are impossible to control. The guy who aggressively motions a direction and doesn't understand your hesitation as to which way to move is stressful. You should be at home. Your home can be and should be your oasis. The first thing I would recommend is that you clear the clutter. You will be spending a lot of time in your living space. Now is a good time to make it comfortable, stress-free, and void of distractions. You may not have the energy to clean as you would have pre-injury. Perhaps there is someone who can help you. If not, an easy way to empty your space is to use boxes. I used empty bins with lids that were stored in my cellar. Ordering online is an option. I basically scooped up all the surfaces and filled the boxes with the extra stuff lying around. You do not need to think to do this. It's very easily done. It may be too difficult to sort now and make decisions as to what is essential to keep and what can be thrown away. Do yourself a favor and place the mandatory things such as your bills that need to be paid in one specific location, a drawer, a shoebox, an envelope. It is totally your choice. Just make sure that you have that where you would normally be to sit and pay the bills. If you bank online, then you may not have as much paperwork. Strive to make your home look as neat as a newly cleaned hotel room. The pictures and magazines can be placed out decoratively or not. I chose to just clear the decks. Everything was a cause for a loss in focus, and to this day, it is very easy for me to fall down holes of total distraction. You may want to invest in a paper shredder if you do not have one. It's one of the best tools I have for organizing my desk area. Do not forget your fridge. Make sure that it is totally void of all foods that contain sugar. For me, these things were a challenge, but over time, one day at a time, baby steps, I was able to clear out the areas that were sucking my attention away from my job, which was to focus on healing. Opening a drawer or fridge that is totally disorganized can be troubling, disturbingly mind-bending. So just get rid of it. Also, if it's not in your cupboards or fridge, you can't eat it. In the case of my desk drawers, I emptied each one into a box and put them in the cellar. I then had perfectly clean spaces to reclutter. And within a brief time, I did just that. Make your bedroom a peaceful place. Get into the habit of making your bed and placing dirty clothes in the area that's designated for them, not on the floor. Try to make it look like that clean, inviting hotel room. This will settle your thoughts and allow for a stress-free resting place. I have my bedroom entirely all off-white. It's monochromatic. It's lovely and peaceful. There is nothing to grab my attention before going to bed. Bedtime should be a routine, the same time always when possible, so you can get at least 8 hours of sleep. Sleep is very important in general. For you, it's at the top of your to-do list. It's not uncommon to sleep more when recovering. If your body is exhausted, it's because it's trying to heal and it's letting you know it's in need of more rest. Do not feel bad about this. I know you may have been that rise at 5 in the morning person, but be aware that this is going to change for a while. You may not have been a napper before, but allow yourself to relax when your body requests this. You are not doing yourself any favors by pushing through the pain. Do not be discouraged with your new mannerisms or needs. They came along with the injury and given time will improve. For now, try not to be discouraged and avoid anyone who you find to be difficult. That includes on the phone. I recommend not answering any calls during the day that are not identifiable. Have people leave a voicemail. That way you can decide how you are going to handle that conversation. I've done that for most people I know, with the exception of my children or close family members. The annoying family members get to take a number at the deli counter with the rest. Avoid confrontation and plan ahead. You can drive your life, even if you can't drive your car. Overstimulation is environmental confrontation for your brain. Now is a good time to limit, if not eliminate, your computer screen time, the TV, and your cell phone activities for a few weeks. All of these are stressful for you and your head. When you have a traumatic brain injury, your mind works much harder than it did before your injury in order to process information. It's a marvelous organ and refuses to let anything go unnoticed. This creates havoc for your mind. Now you're processing information much more slowly than before your injury, and this creates sensory pileups in your brain. Every bit of sensory, visual, and auditory information, whether it be on the TV, in the room, every bit of sensory, visual, and auditory information, whether it be the TV on in the room down the hall, people talking in the same space around you in the grocery store, or traffic noise outside, makes your brain work harder. This is exhausting and headache producing. Scrolling through negative social media and watching horror on the TV is an additional assault on your psyche and hampers healing. Shut down your computer, close the window, and shut the door to your room. Play white noise or calming music. Dim the lights. Send someone to the store for you. Relax and meditate. There are wonderful meditation apps available for your phone and on YouTube, and you may discover meditations that vary in length from a few minutes to 30 minutes or more. I was not one to practice meditation before, but I am a convert. Meditation is like napping, only to wonderful music or soft guiding voices. Meditation is also good for teaching you to breathe properly. This is significant. Breathing, air, oxygen, and great blood flow are needed for your brain's recovery and the overall general health of your body. I've been using an amazing tool that assists further, and I know that it has made a big difference. Always be mindful of your breath. And when feeling anxious, ground yourself with a slow, deep breath in through your nose. Hold for a count of 7, then release slowly through pursed lips. And repeat. If you could do this with your eyes closed 3 to 5 times consecutively, you will feel your body releasing tension. Take your time with things. Appreciate those things you were tending to brush through. Enjoy making your bed, placing a cup in the dishwasher, or washing it after use. Practice mindfulness and patience. Give yourself permission to grieve for the loss of your former abilities. Acknowledge that things are now different. And when it feels right for you, make a plan for a goal that you would like to achieve in the next few days. This is not a suggestion that you are to be planning your training for your next marathon. It's a suggestion for planning more restful activities. As your health, energy, and ability to focus improve with rest, you may find yourself considering what activities might be a good fit for you soon. There are many things you are not able to do pre-injury as your busily overscheduled former self. Use this time to enjoy those things that you used to wish you had the time for, like getting pedicures, taking an Epsom salt bath in the late afternoon, followed by a shower and a lazy early dinner, walking in the woods, using your phone camera to capture the image of the day, receiving massages, enjoying the healing, restful, and detoxifying peace of a float tank, dry brushing your skin, listening to calming music, filling your air with wonderful scents of calming and healing essential oils, drawing, sculpting, painting, writing, cooking, gardening, if bending over isn't a problem, or creating recipes out of those foods. All enjoyable activities such as these will help accelerate your healing by helping you remain in a relaxed state. Perhaps you enjoy cooking and have someone who you could invite for a simple dinner. In the invitation, remember to include the disclaimer that you may get tired and have to ask them to leave and to not be offended, and that their company is appreciated, and that your attention to your healing process requires that you make the rules. I used to get overwhelmed when my 2 children came for a holiday dinner. Thank God my daughter loves to cook and is very talented at it, and my son is a wonderful grocery shopper and can put together a phenomenal arrangement of appetizers, so that was helpful. There would be a point, and this still happens, when I would be amidst people conversing and I would totally tune out. I would become exhausted. My headache would worsen, and I would need to excuse myself and sit in another part of the room. This kind of thing happens, and I would like you to give yourself permission to walk away when necessary. I used to be stressed over my stutter. It was disconcerting. It was something that frustrated and exhausted me. It gave me scrambled egg brains and made me self-conscious. I would often say to a stranger after speaking with them for a few moments, I'm recovering from a brain injury, to explain my stutter. And once I confessed this, I would relax, and then I could actually think about what I wanted to say. Losing my train of thought is something that is still a challenge. I have found that taking some grounding breaths, stepping away from the conversation internally, admitting that I lost my place, asking questions, and giving myself permission to not have the quick responses I once would have had are all important things to remember to do. Laughing works well too. Just remember that most people innately want to be helpful, loving, and kind. They appreciate being told what's going on. You're sharing special information. They feel important and trusted. Sometimes this can create an opportunity for further dialogue. If that is something that feels right, you can continue. If not, you can say you need to get on your way. Take care of yourself. You are the one who needs to make the rules now. Think about the time you now have to explore some ways to express kindness towards yourself. Pre-TBI, you may have had many demands on your time or social or work-related responsibilities. Now, although you may be missing those things, consider this extra time as a gift. Time to plan how you will train for that 180-mile cycling event when your body gives you the go signal. Always know that there is nothing wrong with stating your truths, and do not be alarmed if, at times, you have a burst of honesty. This I refer to as my Tourette's. I can't lie, and sometimes I can't keep my comments to myself. As my mother used to say, if you can't say anything nice, well, now it just comes out. My traumatic brain injury is a truth teller, and it has been alarming to some, including myself. However, sometimes the truth needs to be said. This is another one of the many gifts my brain injury provided. Now, I'm not afraid to speak up. Actually, I just can't help it. Sometimes it would have been better not to have spoken. Most of the times, I find the experience freeing. I'm done stuffing my thoughts and feelings. So if you have this tendency as a result of your injury, accept it. It happens to the best of us, and in time, this too will pass if you'd like, or you can embrace it as I have. Relax. You've got this. Detoxifying. An inability to focus was one of the gifts of my injury. Over time, I discovered that it was best to arrange my living space as though I had just checked into a fabulous hotel. I love the upside-down design of my home. I feel like I'm in a tree house. There is a fabulous view of Casco Bay on one side, lush green trees on the other, and looking out the kitchen picture window, there's a mountain of red, brown, and gold rock with pretty condos that look down upon my neighborhood. I have a fabulous 360-degree view. Not one of them is hard on the eyes. There are many birds that gently cruise, sail, and dart about. They frequent the large tree branch that hangs over into my yard and build their nests in the long pink rosehip hedge that is commonly found here in New England seaside areas, along with seagulls, ospreys, hawks, and cardinals galore. It's easy to be distracted here just without anything happening. Simply sitting and looking up from my desk can be distracting. If I have a desk full of paperwork, a sink's worth of dirty dishes overflowing onto the counter, and a half-completed drawing with my Prismacolor pencils splayed out over the kitchen counter, with a half-empty dog dish of food all competing for my attention, I'm in the weeds. My recommendation is that you strive to keep things clean. That encompasses the visual and, in regard to this chapter, the unseen environmental influences. They can be damaging to your health and recovery. There are things you can do to assure that the products that you use are non-toxic. Taking action concerning environmental toxic assault will make your life and recovery so much easier. To achieve this, I recommend you throw out all cleaning products that are toxic, including antibacterial soaps, household cleaners, essential oils that have not been third-party tested for their purity, fabric softeners, fragrances, furniture polish, furniture treated with stain-resistant and fire retardants, flea and tick products, gas space heaters, mothballs, mold, oven cleaners, paint fumes, secondhand smoke, and toilet bowl cleaners. All your cleaning products should be non-toxic and environmentally friendly. Have your water tested and avoid drinking water that you purchase from the store in plastic containers. There are hidden toxins in some bottled waters and canned foods that have been leached into the water or food from the plastic material used to make the bottle or can. This is called TBI, and this chemical is harmful for everyone, especially brain-injured people. You should be drinking a lot of water for your recovery. It is recommended that you take in half your weight in ounces at the minimum. That just keeps your body operating. To optimally ensure that you're moving your nutrients through your system and moving the waste products out, I say do at the bare minimum 64 ounces, but remember that your brain is 70% water. It will not operate well or recover quickly when it's deprived of water. Water is necessary for our body to maintain a balanced state. Dehydration is not beneficial for a healthy individual, and it's even worse for you if you wish to get better quickly. Remember, Water helps wash all those toxins out of your system. I found a fantastic water bottle that's easy to use. It is marked with ounces and times, has a cap that stays attached, and an attached carrying strap. You may want to check out a reverse osmosis water filter. To establish safe choices in personal care products and household cleaning products, I found this website to be fairly comprehensive and easy. beautycounter.com/the-never-list. Please consider how you use the electronics that influence your health. Your computer, cell phone, and TV time should be eliminated immediately following your injury. Too much stimulation is created by them and minimized after an appropriate amount of time. Overstimulation creates more inflammation. You do not need this now. If you're getting headaches or your discomfort is increasing, you may always have a baseline headache upon waking, like I did for years, but now it only comes to visit me in the late afternoon, like that annoying relative who comes unannounced to check in on you and stays too long. You may consider turning off your Wi-Fi at night before sleep. Also, keeping those bad boys out of your sleeping space is highly recommended. If you are keeping your cell phone by your body while you sleep, maybe you could invest in a landline phone to have there for emergency purposes. Having Wi-Fi devices near your body 24/7 is not a good health strategy. Currently, there is a debate taking place as to how safe the energy field is that is emitted from these types of technology. I don't know the definitive answer, but I have chosen to err on the side of caution. To address the detoxification of your internal environment, I suggest an initial 60-day elimination diet with plenty of water intake. Additionally, keep your body free of toxins with Epsom salt baths, dry brushing of your skin, which helps to enhance your lymph drainage, and foods that are clean, organic, wild-caught, cold water fish, grass-fed and grass-finished beef, and poultry that has been raised on the outdoor pastures and not the free range, which can mean it was one of 1,000 chickens locked in a barn to never see the light of day. Did you realize that as long as they are not in cages, they qualify for the cage-free designation? They could be stacked on top of one another in unclean and stressful, crowded conditions in an inside environment. I want you eating chicken that has been free to roam and eat wonderful bugs. That product exists and can be ordered from many different sources. Once again, fruits, vegetables, and everything else you put in your body should be free of damaging inflammatory substances. Also, avoid processed foods. This brings me to another category. There are hundreds of choices in supplements, nutraceuticals, and vitamins. Keep in mind that there is no regulation for this category, and what you may think is helping may not be. Many doctors now promote their own line of products. I would encourage you to seek out the source of the ingredients, find out how they are obtained, farmed, and manufactured, and from where, under what conditions, and in what type of facility. At the time of this writing, I discovered that there is only one CBD product currently in the physician's desk reference. Now I believe that this is not a qualifier for absolute purity as far as drugs go. There are many things that pollute your body that are contained in that book, such as antibiotics in particular, which you should avoid when possible. And if you need to take them, be sure to get your fermented food intake to counteract the damage antibiotics have on your digestive system. It has been written that a course of these can upset your metabolism for months, if not years. But I digress. The CBD found in the PDR is hemp that comes from clean, non-toxic soil in Holland. This company is currently traded on NASDAQ, and I envision it putting a lot of currently existing smaller companies out of business. As there is no regulation in this industry at the current time, I can only encourage you to not use the CBD that you find at your local gas station. Do your research. Perhaps you know a responsible grower and compounder of this. I researched and read that my brain could benefit from CBD, but never found anything I was comfortable with, so I cannot speak to its effect. I read studies that say it's highly beneficial, and now that I've discovered the product from cleaner pastures, so to speak, I will be experimenting with that. It's tough. There are not many untainted, non-toxic tracts of farmland here in the US, which is sad and concerning. This is an exhaustive list of potential hazards. Filling up your car and breathing in the fumes is one of many. If you live in an area where there is a lot of air pollution, you may consider an air filter if you do not already have one. The more you can do to clear out and take control of the internal, external toxins, the better chance you have of maximizing a speedy recovery. Not only will you feel better, but you will also be able to focus and, most importantly, relax. The finish line will be that much easier to cross. You're doing this.